Check. Call the meeting to order, please. November 27th, Board of Fair Commissioners meeting. And as start each meeting with a legal notice as information for our audience. If you're not satisfied with the decision made by the Metropolitan Board of Fair Commissioners today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of entry of the board's decision. Ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met. Please be advised that you should contact your own independent legal counsel. Meeting is called to order. The first item on the agenda is reviewing the minutes from the last meeting, which was October 9th. The minutes have been circulated to the board.
To approve?
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Christy. All right, so we will start public comment time. We have a microphone on a podium here. If anybody would like to speak at this time, limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. Name and address if you wish to speak. There's no public comments, so we can move along in our agenda. We have monthly reports. Start with our financial report.
Good morning.
Morning, Felicia.
If you would look to your packet, there should be financials for the period ending October 31st, 2018. Our revenues were $1,117,443. Expenditures for that period, through that period, $1,113,371 for a gain of $4,072. Depreciation for the period through August, I'm sorry, that should be through October. There's a mistake. Through October, depreciation is $125,517. Below, you will see a breakdown of the expenses that make up that $1,113,000. We will turn to the charts. It's better to picture how the breakdown occurs. Payroll continues to be our largest expense, followed by utilities. Payroll, 44% of the budget, utilities, 21%, followed by that purchase services, 6%, supplies, 4%, communications, IT, 4%, and then insurance permits, 13% so the largest areas of our budget are payroll, utility, and then our insurances for fairground. Revenue distribution, below that, you can see flea booth rent continues to be our largest revenue with 42%, followed by parking, 14%, and closely after that, revenue from the track, 13%. And then building rent and outside space, tie at 9%, concessions, state fair, and rentals at 4%. The revenue trend chart on the back shows you, compares where we were to the previous 2 years. You can see on the revenue side, in 2017 for October, we were at 432,881, and we are currently, October of 2018, we're at 398,105. Please note that we are still missing income from the track, and we're missing revenue from State Fair, which totals about $179,000 that is still outstanding. So if you add that to the 398, we would have been at roughly 577 for the month of October. But those funds are outstanding, approximately, again, $179,000. I did speak with Scott, and he said that he was awaiting on a vote from the Fair Board, or their board of directors, to approve the release of, it's going to be $79,000, a little over $79,000 for the State Fair, the balance that is due to us. Down below, the trend bar, you can see for expenses for 2017, our expenses were roughly $294, and for October of this year, we're at $250,665. So we are a little below, and we're keeping our expenses at bay as much as we can because we know that our revenue is kind of trending down, but we still have that $179,000 that is outstanding that we're expecting to come in. I'm hoping to at least get the revenue from the racetrack and the State Fair this month so that we can book it and that it will show up on next month's financials.
So on the State Fair, would that total have been 129,000?
Yes. We budgeted $150,000 for the State Fair. We're going to be shy below that by approximately $21,000 after all of the numbers came in. So instead of 150, it will be 129 is the total expected from State Fair.
So in the past, that has been about 4%
Yes.
of our revenue.
Yes.
Alicia, what do you attribute our expense reduction so far?
We have positions that we have one vacancy, and of course, my position was vacant and wasn't filled until August, so there was a couple of months of savings for my position and benefits for my position, and then we still have a vacant position that has not been filled.
Anyone else with questions?
Real quick, on the budget tracker, what's going on with supplies?
Supplies, that's timing, that's due to State Fair. A lot of expenses, David there were a lot of repairs made during that period, and so that's timing of when the bills hit.
Traditionally, maintenance will spend about 60% of their budget in the first half of the year and 40% for the remaining, so that is a normal trend that we see for supplies. In addition, one of the other expenses that we had last year that we don't this year is our scrubber went down last year, and so we had a very significant rental bill. And since we were awarded or given 4% funds, we did replace that. And so our expenses, our rental equipment is down from that. However, we're also losing tables at an astronomical rate. They're so old, they're breaking, and they're not able to be repaired. So we are having to supplement certain events with rental equipment that is being passed on to the promoters, but it still is an expense line out of us, and then a reimbursement back through revenue. So we're going to be working on a plan to ask for additional 4%, which we usually do this time of year. We always have a running list of furniture and equipment, supplies that are eligible for 4% funding, and we'll do that again.
Laura, question. Didn't we get a bunch of equipment from Music City Center last year? I thought
We
tables.
did, we got some chairs.
Just
Yep.
chairs.
We still send our tables and chairs outside the facility?
No, we've stopped. The equipment that we have, again, is aged and does not hold up well. And so in order to preserve its life as long as we can, we stop the practice of lending out our furniture. So it has helped.
Well, thank you, Felicia. Anybody else questions on the report?
Do we have a update on our amount in our surplus fund?
Our surplus fund is down to 43,000, a little over 43.
It was 141, but
And I just contacted finance this morning to verify that number, because they sent me that number. I had questions about that number.
we did. And I think the last time, like I said, Felicia's verifying that number, but we had a balance of about 606. And last year, we dipped into that, which we knew we would. We had forecasted that. And I believe we're sitting at about 141 in the balance.
Can I get a final figure on that? Because last month we were, in the minutes, it was 240, 280. I guess we dip in, I'm assuming we dipped into that.
And I tried to get that information for the meeting this morning, and they sent me that number that I just gave you. And then I responded back to them again this morning to verify to get the actual number, because we don't agree with that number.
Thank you. If you could, when you get clarity around that, if you could email that to me.
Okay.
Yeah, due to our transition in finance, downtown has been very gracious to, had extended the year end for us so that we could go back and do some reclassifications and go over, some of those final numbers and get everything put in the appropriate accounts. So that was most recently, I saw our year end yesterday, and so Felicia and I are going through all of those accounts and kind of just, again, doing an internal audit to see really how all of that was classified, make sure everything, we can't change anything at this point because the books are closed for the year, but it's still a valid exercise to go through everything and identify areas that, can be improved, or just make sure everything ended up in the correct spot.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions. We'll move on to Executive Director's report, please.
All right, I just have a few things.
I want to give a shout out to staff that are here. I know Marianne and Scott are here. October Flea was just incredibly successful. It took a lot of staff time and energy, and not only our full-time staff, but our part-time, our temporary staff that we bring in from industrial, parking staff, of course. It It was very, I don't think, we far surpassed our foot traffic from 2017. It was very successful. I got a lot of positive feedback from vendors that it was the best month that they had seen in some time. So I just wanted to give a thank you to staff, as well as this November flea market. You know, it's over Thanksgiving. You know, we have set up and we have office hours, and Marianne and Isaac, without fail, volunteer to come in on Thanksgiving Day to assist the vendors and get them in. So I want to thank Marianne and Isaac for their work. And I know a lot of staff, Scott, you were here over the weekend, and it was a smaller market, but again, it's over a holiday and takes people away from their families, and I just wanted to acknowledge them for their work on that. Also want to acknowledge the people here from Skanska. They did a food drive for Fall Hamilton Elementary School to help support the kids with snacks and lunch products, and the amount of food and donations that were brought over to Fall Hamilton Elementary School was amazing. So I just want to thank Skanska for their work and their outreach here local in our neighborhood. It means a lot to the school, and they've been really good partners and neighbors to Wedgwood, Houston, and the fairgrounds. So thank you to Skanska. We had the All-American. I know Tony's here. He's going to talk a little bit. Unfortunately, it rained on Sunday, so I know Tony's going to talk a little bit about plans for what to do with having that race rescheduled. And then, of course, we have Ann McKinney here from Christmas Village. I know she's probably well rested now, but Christmas Village was, again, very successful, and I want to thank them for all their work and staff that worked with them to make that a successful event. We were happy to have them and look forward to having them back for their, I think, 52nd year next year. And then I think the only other thing that I wanted to mention is we are still working with procurement on the concessions RFP. It's still open procurement, so I won't talk too much about it other than we are moving forward and hopefully more soon.
Anyone with questions? Okay. Let's move on to Fairgrounds Improvement Project update, please.
Michelle, bring that as close as you
Sure. Hi. How's everybody doing?
Good, thanks.
Well rested after a nice break. At the fairgrounds, what's going on right now, I'll start with the grandstands.
need to keep it, you can, yeah, clicks in and out unless you're like right on.
Okay. I can also speak up a little louder too. The grandstands, of course, is at a holding pattern right now. We're waiting for the talks with Bristol that are ongoing. There's still a little bit of work left to complete out there. As you all know, it's the expo itself. You all see a couple of renderings that are in your packets. You can see an aerial view, which really gives the best view of that. From that, you can see the designs of the pre-engineered metal buildings. There's 3 that are in the U shape. It's about 128,000 square feet of conditioned space that's within that. And then you also see the sheds, the covered area, and the show arena in that. The sheds, as we've mentioned before, are going to be covered parking when they're not needed for shed space. So that's a nice added feature. That was something that was done. And we've got about 101,000 square feet of covered space in addition to the 100. So right now designs are hot and heavy. They're underway. We are expecting the next set. We've gone through the beginnings of permitting with Metro. What you've seen on site, if you happen to drive by, you probably start to see construction fencing, silt fencing that's gone up. We have our grading permit. So poles have come down, the NES poles, and the remaining poles are coming down on the site. So you'll start to see, really as of today, right, Bill? As of today, you'll start to see dirt moving. So the construction team is ready, and we'll be working throughout the winter for that. Of course, I think everyone here was at the groundbreaking event, which was November 1st, where you got a chance to see the renderings for the first time. And that was a wonderful event. And I'm so thankful it didn't rain. I think everybody was anticipating it to be a wet day, but it was really nice out there. So I'm glad that we had a great turnout for that. And then as far as the scheduling, what you'll see next on the site, again, we had our groundbreaking. Construction has begun. It really starts with fencing and getting the permits in place. Between now and about mid-February, you'll see the site work happen and the foundations going in, and then you'll start to see the pre-engineered metal building. The buildings will start to install around March or so of this next year. So it's going to get really busy on the site. We're expecting move-in to happen in July, and that July 2019 flea market is that our first event. So that's what we're expecting. As far as the site, we can go in, the schedule is, we can go in a little more detail if you'd like, but those are the major milestones that you can expect to see on the site. Have any questions specifically about what you see there? We're happy to answer that. I know that Ed can get into the details on the budgeting and where we stand for that. So.
What was the number again for indoor square footage?
About 128,000 square feet of conditioned space. So that's the three buildings, the three pre-engineered metal buildings that are connected. So you can have one huge space. You can also divide it up. Again, we've been working closely with the Fairgrounds team, with Laura and her team, and also the Fairgrounds User Advisory Committee in making sure that we can accommodate small events, large events, sports, State Fair, the agriculture components into it. So all of that is taken into consideration with the flexibility of that space.
We've also been working, of course, with the metro departments, so codes, fire, police, public works. We've been had a couple kickoff meetings with all of the metro departments that will, have a stake in one aspect or another of this project, and we will continue to do that throughout the project.
We'll be meeting monthly with them, and so we've already established that. We've met with department heads as well as the plans reviewers and inspectors, and we'll continue to do that. So.
So you'll see some new amenities in these buildings that you don't necessarily see currently in these older buildings, and that includes things like, family restrooms that are new to the code since these buildings were, put up in the mid-'60s and later. So you'll see some new things in there that we've accommodated.
Thank you.
You can pull that thing out and.
All the way up?
Yeah, there
All
you
right.
go.
Hopefully this will work pretty well. So as Michelle said, I wanted to help us kind of transition. We talked about, the site moving towards the expo building. So what you have in front of you is kind of the budget dashboard that transitions $12 million budget and the progress that we're making out on site. And it now includes the $25 million that were approved council as part of that bond allocation. So that brings the grand total allocation for the fairgrounds improvement to $37 million, which is what you'll see at the bottom of the page. But I'll kind of walk you through some of the ways we've allocated that in anticipation for the expo building contributions that will go towards that project specifically. So at the top of the page, you'll see sources, and the first source you'll see is $12 million funds that were originally allocated. So at the bottom of the page, you'll see some other categories that are broken out. That's the allocation of those funds that have been used or are committed to date. And as of April of 2018, which is kind of a signifying point or denomination point that I've used, which is when we, Fairgrounds, our project management team, as well as the city design center, engaged with the community engagement component. And at that time, there was about $7.6 million that weren't earmarked, had not been spent, or had not been committed related to the fairgrounds improvement projects. And so that's been carried forward and is now part of the total amount of funds that will make up the budget for the expo building project. As you'll see below that, the full $25 million that was allocated as part of the bond release. And then Beneath that, you'll see our projected breakout of the uses. As we're working to fully finish design, as we're starting to move and utilize Scansco on site, these numbers will of course become more clear and may adjust slightly. But as you can see, we've broken down in the same categories as you've seen before: construction, design, project management and related expenses. But one new area that you'll see now is the percent for the public arts. And so because that was a bond allocation, council has an ordinance in place where there's 1% that's committed to the arts. And so we've captured that in our budget. So there's $250,000 earmarked for public art as part of that project. As you can see from that portion of the spreadsheet, very little activity there. It's primarily been in project management services, and then heavily involved with our design team, who's been working like crazy to get us to this point. So that's a very small amount of that total budget that comes out to just over $32.6 million. That's when we talk about the expo budget, that's the rough number that we're using for that project. Beneath that, you'll see the grandstands project, and as Michelle said, that project is currently on hold, pending conversations and evaluating things that will happen there in the future. But you have the 1.795 that has been committed for that. And work forward and we move through what actually happens there. Those funds are the fairgrounds funds, so we'll evaluate exactly what portion. And then beneath that, which I've coined it or named it repair, demolition, and site master planning. But basically the way to look at that is those were dollars that were spent on fairgrounds improvement site that were before April 2018. So not grandstands, but just other stuff, which included demolition of the Christmas Village area, the Walsh building, as well as the bridges that we deemed that was unsafe, and then some of the other painting and repairs that were done around the campus. And then finally, you'll see in green, there, if you have it in color, which I believe you do, is the $1 million that has been earmarked for infrastructure in the park. And what will happen now is that will start to be, those funds will start to be utilized as we're starting to wrap up the park. You see the pavement there, you see the parking, the reinforced turf, those things have been installed. So we'll be going back and allocating some of those dollars to that. And so all of these will start to have movement and some expenses in them. But as you see, the total number at the bottom is $37 million. Few projects that make up this total budget. What I've done is expand out the budget for the expo building. That will be the one that you will have, I'm assuming, the most questions on as we move forward. We'll provide the most detailed update as you would like to see. So these line items can be expanded a little further, and I'm happy to answer any questions about those.
And just to add to what Ed said, first of all, the Arts Commission work, the money that's going to be signed for that, there's also another $25 million that's approved for infrastructure, and that's going to go have 1% for arts as well. So we met with the Arts Commission, and they've agreed that we can spend that money on site, and we're continuing to have conversations about how that will be used and how that will be an asset to the overall discussion. The infrastructure project, to make sure you guys understand how that's working, that's being administered through the Sports Authority. They're going to be going out for RFPs for design firms and contractors. In the meantime, we're doing some cost estimating and some meeting with the team and mixed use to see how that infrastructure money is going to be allocated and how to stretch it as far as possible, as well as meeting with all the major utilities, gas, NES, Public Works, and Metro Water. All of those, everybody's involved. As we mentioned earlier, we are meeting monthly with all the department heads and trying to keep everybody up to speed and keep all of these pieces and parts coordinated. On the MLS stadium, the construction manager's on board. He's in the process of doing cost estimates and budgeting based on the schematic design. Before the schematic phase is finished, there'll be quite a bit of a dialogue about constructability and those kind of things, and that's in process. So things are going to start looking a lot different here in the next month.
Is it possible, I'm going to put Roxanne on the spot. Can you talk about our minority participation numbers and that program just a little bit?
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, just briefly, we are looking at the numbers that Ed actually. When I look at the numbers that we've already spent, the dollars that Ed talked about earlier, we're currently, we were charged with doing 20% diversity participation. We're currently at 29% participation. I don't have the breakdown here in front of me, with me, but we've done demo, the painting, just all the things that Ed has listed that we've spent the dollars on. And so we've got DB participation on all of those. We're looking at the Expo phase to be 30% diversity participation. And so once we get through that, we've actually done 3 outreaches for the Expo building, and we've got another one planned mid-December. So we're reaching out to the contractors so that we can maximize that participation. 30% is what the city has asked us to do. I don't see any reason or concerns for us not to do that, so that's what's going to be our focus. What I can do is put together, which I already have, but we can get it over to you, a percentage of breakdown as it relates to minority women and small businesses that we've done on the first phase. There is no dollars to report on that expo just yet.
Yeah, I think that would be just important if we could, I don't know if that's part of Ed, your tracking, but just so we could keep track of that.
We can do that,
in our
yeah.
monthly reports. Thank you for that.
Absolutely, we can get that.
iPad.
Well, okay. Pretty much just wanted to point out that the design team, of course, is a small business. So when I look at what our goals are going to be for the diversity participation, I feel very confident in us reaching and exceeding those participation numbers for the Expo project. And we'll keep you guys abreast of those. I think we were kind of wanting the project to kind of get in line, get kicked off, and we'll give you guys a regular monthly update on what those will look like.
Related questions, probably from Michelle. Do you have any update on the election commission building, or maybe?
Been told that there is a relocation plan. There's going to have to be some build out of that, of where it's going, so that takes a little time. We've also been told that there is a interim location. I don't know exactly when that will be ready, but Skanska's ready and able to complete that project as soon as we're able to move those buildings.
Okay. Did they move the machines back into the building? All right, Laura, could you talk to Director Roberts about that and Election Commission? I guess, I don't know, yeah, I don't know. I think it's his name, right? Jeff Roberts? Get a
Raise him rep.
motivated, I guess.
Yeah, like Michelle said, they have a new facility in Antioch that they will be moving the machines to, and that funding for that build-out just was approved recently as part of the CIB through Metro Council. So that said, they're going to have to do a little work there. I've talked to General Services, and they were targeting hopefully May, June to get that equipment out. And I think I think a question that we can ask is there an interim place that is safe for those equipment, appropriate for that equipment in the meantime, so that we can maybe move that timeline up a little bit? And so I think that's the question that we need to work out with General Services and Elections.
Is that putting us at any scheduling issues, having them come back in there?
Not for the Expo building, no.
No, but for the park?
For the park, we're not able to complete that portion of Fair Park. So that component will have to be corrected. Yeah, that'll have to be worked on when they're ready.
Any update on fencing? My favorite pet
topic, I know. It's a line item on every agenda, and I have you in mind on that. So, we are looking at the different types of security on site. That's an ongoing conversation, and now that we've made it to this point, I think we're ready to tackle that conversation and really understand the best types of fencing for the expo and making sure that it ties into the campus.
And I just want to thank the design team. I think these are very aesthetically pleasing, just a great layout, and I appreciate all the work everyone involved in that. I think we've gotten a long way.
Good team.
And I would say that it really doesn't do it justice as far as the scale of these buildings. So if you have ever been at the end of sheds 2 and 3, or Vaughn for that matter, and looked down, those sheds that are to the right of your aerial are that large. So they are almost identical as far as the dimensions of sheds 2 and 3 that we currently have. The show arena, which is to the top of your page, off what we're calling Expo 1, which is the larger building, that is much larger than our current show arena. It's, I believe, 100 by 211. So it's a very, very large covered space that will be able to serve, of course, the flea market, as with covered space, but it will have a compacted dirt floor so that State Fair would be able to use it for livestock showing, equestrian events, et cetera, and our rodeos that we host frequently. So,
one question, I was thinking about it. The visual right now, it's showing, I know it's preliminary, but more or less a sidewalk along the side, and I know we're talking about bringing the greenway, eventually through the phase 2 to the end of the racetrack, and I'm assuming this could be, more of a greenway type than a sidewalk type in that middle, so it's all kind of tied in together. So be thinking through that if that's not already addressed.
What you're looking at in the aerial is actually a road it's a drive road that you can enter in. I'm not sure that that perspective of the phase 2 portion of Fair Park is hard to see in that aerial view.
Yeah.
There is a greenway component that's part of that design, which is, an ongoing project is to complete Fair Park.
Yeah, just to reinforce what Michelle's saying, that's that rendering, the detail on that, we're talking about in that's still being coordinated. The whole phase 2 program, we're setting up a series of meetings supposed to start this week on how phase 2 is going to look, phase 2 of Fair Park, and how all that's going to be integrated into it. So we're beginning that process. Meantime, how the sidewalks and greenways and all of that connect. We're going to be able to walk, bike, Nashville, and some others, trying to make sure that it meets everybody's needs, and coordinating all that with the security issues. So, kind of operations we have doing things.
So there is a connection with Wingrove at the end of the parking lot there?
There will be. Another thing that we're working on is how things are going to look in the interim. I know Laura's done a lot of work on interim parking plans, but beyond that, interim access to the property until that bridge that connects Wedgewood to Craighead is installed, which that's going to be a long lead time. That's about a year's worth of permitting by itself. That's coming out of the infrastructure project. So we're going to be working over the next month or so on interim plans and how things look at each stage as construction progresses until the stage is done.
Anything else? All right. Thank you very much. Great. Is there anything under MLS Stadium update?
Well, the MLS, I think what I said is that we're still getting construction
How about the new business 2019 Speedway schedule?
Mr. Formosa.
My daughter was going to come here this morning. I guess basically what we wanted to talk about was the it's fair to say that 80% of our event was rained out in November, the 1st of November. What we have done is rescheduled that event for April, which was already on our schedule. Basically, I feel like there's could be a little controversy upon this being whether it's a 2-day event or a 1-day event. So, and I know that's a concern. But this is the same exact thing we did last year. And basically, it's better for us to make it a 1-day event and use Sunday for our rain date. Basically, I just wanted to explain that what we were going to do was do this event the same way that we did it last year. Bring the haulers in like on Thursday night, practice on Friday, and then run the event on Saturday. We need Sunday for rain day. So I just want to let the folks know, even though the All-American 400 was rained out, we did get part of our small show, our quarter-mile show. We were able to get that in on Saturday night. But where we make our money and bring our crowd in is on Sunday for our late model and super late model events. Those are traveling series that come from. We flag laps in and ran a few caution laps, and then the rain came and we had. That's kind of where we're at on that, and so I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that we have moved that race, I guess fair to say 75% of it, where we can rerun it in April. Like I said, it was already that race, that date was already.
What's the date in April? What's the date in April?
April 13th and 14th?
Yeah, 13th is a Saturday, that's the race date. 14th is a rain date.
Is there any action required of the board for this? Okay.
So if no one has a problem with that, then, we would like to go ahead and set that in stone, and we're going to Pittsburgh, Florida this weekend to promote our event, and it should be a good cabin fever event. And
Tony's been very gracious to make sure that we're all on the same page with the schedule and make sure everybody understands, how things are going to run. And we've certainly reached out to Councilman Sledge, and we'll continue to reach out to the neighborhood. Usually we take a break with the Neighborhood Impact Advisory Committee in the wintertime, since, the racing season is it's not active in the wintertime, but we still communicate, of course, with the neighborhood about things like this, and we'll continue to do so. I feel like this time next month we'll have some really big news for you guys.
Well, good. Thank you. Anybody have any other questions?
Do we have an update on the Bristol conversation?
She asked if there was any update on the Bristol conversation, and then I would just say that they're ongoing.
Well, Claire and you
that and everything, you know. I picked that. We actually picked that date, not knowing about the state fair, what was going to happen or what.
Oh, no, she asked about Bristol.
Pardon?
She was talking about SMI and those conversations. So, I mean, I guess.
We haven't really discussed it, but we'll have to do what we have to do, you know, to make that work for everyone.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Yes.
Update on the outlaw folks. Have they come back with additional information?
Not formal information. So the question was, has the World of Outlaws that we voted to approve an additional date for next year at the last board meeting, they are working with their insurance company, which fortunately is also the Formosas and our Speedway's insurance company. So they are actually working through that now as far as what recommendations they're going to come back with for the fencing upgrades for that. So they are working on it.
We would like very much to host an event during the state fair. Tell you folks that. So we're able to put something together. I know that they've got their monster truck show. I don't know what's going to happen in September. I guess that's all up in the air. I'm not really up to speed with it, but if the state fair comes back here,
Mike here in the future. Okay, any further items before the board? Anybody need to be recognized? Okay.
I just wanted to make mention for those of you who knew Mike Dice that unfortunately he passed away yesterday. And being long-term partners of the fairgrounds, Dice family, they're in our thoughts and prayers.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming today, folks.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.